Good morning, Raptor Freak. Alexiot's here. Sunday morning. That means it's time for another great Sunday special report. And this one today is really important and timely. It's something that I've wanted to do something on for a couple months now. So I've been thinking about this special report for a while, y'all, because this is a huge issue. And we're finding it a big issue this week because of Jake from State Farm. Yes, if you don't know who I'm talking about when I say Jake from State Farm, I'm talking about that Jake guy who's talking all this trash about the Raptors being unhappy these last couple days. Well, listen, I want to tell you right now, once again, this man is doing this for a couple different reasons. First of all, it's clickbait. It's pure clickbait. He realized this the last time when he did the OG rumor last week that he got a lot of attention. He got a lot more new traffic. And it was from people like us. It was from the Raptor fans because we're a very active community on the internet. And that this man got a little bump from our anger towards him. We need to realize that he's manipulating our anger against him because of his bullshit reports to get more clicks. And we need to realize that's what's going on here because he's doubling down because he realized how much he got from the first initial OG and Anunoby unhappy report. And now he's trying to say that there are multiple players on the team that are unhappy with their roles on the Raptors. Well, let's dissect this a little bit. Let's look at this and see how factual this is. Well, figured it out. Like, if it's going to be anybody who's upset, it's got to be one of these guys that's at the end of the bench. The core guys are all happy. They got way enough minutes. They all got many good accolades and different kinds of things happening. They're all on an upward trending curve. But meanwhile, somebody like Malachi may be upset, or maybe Svi or something like that. But I can understand that. But this is misleading when he says there are many Raptors who are upset and disgruntled with their role. It's really a media trick that media uses in their media writing to leave out important details. Like, if he's going to say some people are upset, why doesn't he name a couple of them? Because they don't matter. That's why. He's not going to name them because they don't matter. They're not people that will get a headline like OG and Anunoby. Now, this is the thing. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. We know already that the American mainstream media and the sports media down there does not cover the Raptors correctly, that they don't pay attention to us, that Charles and Shaq have said things that are asinine, that we know that they barely watch us. So when you're looking at sources, look and see if they're from Canada. That's the first thing you should check, because if it's an American media source, it's going to be false for most likely because they're not paying attention. It's just purely simply that. Now, you know what I do with this station. I keep on top of everything that has to do with the Raptors. And I've done this whole entire season. And I've looked at every interview that they've done. I've seen every little TikTok, every Instagram, every little social media thing that our team has done this year. And there is nothing and no evidence that points to any of these guys being upset with their roles on the Raptors. And, if there was something like this, you know who would be reporting it? It would be people like Doug Smith. It would be Eric Kareem. It would be Michael Grange. It would be Josh Lewenberg. It would be the people that actually are the real reporters who are covering the Raptors in Canada that are in Toronto, the ones that are actually talking to them regularly. So when something breaks like this, you really got to look at the source. And we know that Jake from State Farm is an unreliable source. He's one of the worst sources in the NBA. Like, some of his takes that he's had over the last couple of years are absolutely dreadful. So bad. Like, we can go look at a laundry list of stuff that he has said that has not proven to be true in any kind of way. So he's deemed an unreliable source. So what do you do when you have an unreliable source that is proven? You ignore it. You say, look, this is just this idiot Jake from State Farm once again, and that we're going to ignore it because when we put attention to it, we give it power. And we need to realize that, y'all. Like, when these rumors come out, check it out, see if it's factual, see who it's coming from, and then don't ignore it. Don't even propagate it. Don't reply to it. Don't share it. Don't do anything like that. If you're sharing Jake from State Farm's BS from this past weekend, you're part of the problem. And there's mainstream media outlets that are doing that. And the state side is going to do that and run with it. It's crazy. All right, let's see. Tom Duke is here. Fisher is rubbing his hands together like Scrooge or Dr. Evil. Listen, Tom, it does a couple of things. It brings his traffic up and it gets his stats up. He's a Philly, New York guy. So he's a Sixers Nets fan. And any kind of this is political psyops kind of shit too. It's the same kind of stuff that the Republicans would do to the other party is they will use subterfuge and kind of like weird stories to try and screw up something good that's going on. We know things are good here in Toronto. We know our core is very happy together and they are committed to play together. But they want to make it look like there's some dissension to make the cracks in our maybe have cracks in our foundation or have something happen because of this. Like it could spiral into something irresponsibly out of control. That's the whole thing. Like I was going to use this as an example for like just media in general and how irresponsible some media has been in the last couple of years with misinformation and stoking the fires of hate. And that this is this is how it does. It's like these people are not factual. Bad things can happen. Like the thing that they're having a committee for in the US right now, this January 6th committee, that this is partly stemmed from media. And that's what we need to realize. The power of media can affect us to do bad things or think bad things or affect us in just negative ways for our mental health. And we need to point out, like, once again, I said, if your news makes you feel bad, get a new news source because news is supposed to purely be information that you take in and you learn from. It's not supposed to make you feel feelings. It's not supposed to make you angry. That's purely a manipulative media source preying on your emotions. And that's what Jake from State Farm is doing. Is he's preying on our emotions as Raptor fans. And we cannot give him more ammunition by, clicking, doing anything that has to do with him. Just cut him out of your life as best as you can. And if you find there are more people that are like this, as far as hack writers around the NBA, cut them out. Cut them out. Like I said at many times this season, I do not pay attention to the American media at all when it comes to the Raptors because they don't come from a basis of any kind of like knowledge of them because they haven't paid attention to them. They only pay attention to them when it's convenient. And when they do, it's usually in a negative way. So I don't listen to them. If it was coming from somebody like Doug Smith, I would listen to them. So let's talk about the different kinds of journalists in sports. To me, there's really three tiers. There's the tier of real journalists, somebody like Doug Smith, somebody like Josh Lewenberg, somebody like Michael Grange. These are people that are on TV. These are people that have to have some sort of credibility because that's part of their job. And then, Doug Smith, somebody who writes for a Toronto Star. This is an important person in the history of the Raptors. He may have written the most important book about the Raptors. His book about the Raptors history. And he's a person that keeps track of the history and the timeline of the Raptors. Very important person. But he made a mistake this season. He made a sarcastic joke about Armani Brooks and him getting signed to a full contract with the Raptors. And he got a huge backlash for it. See, part of the problem is, Doug Smith, you are a real journalist. You cannot get on TikTok or Twitter or any kind of social media and make half-assed jokes. You cannot afford to be sarcastic. People depend on you to tell the truth and tell the facts. And when you add your comedy in there, it's not good. So just stay purely journalistic, Doug Smith, please. That was the tough lesson you learned this year. And I hope you really take it to heart and you do not make that same mistake ever again. Because it's really important that we draw these lines, that you are a factual, trusted source of news. And you a personality like me. Like I'm at the other end of the spectrum. I am not a journalist. I am not professing to be completely telling the truth. Because I am most of the time, I'm just a dude who's a big, huge fan of the Raptors and really pays a lot of attention to them. And really is trying to give the information to you guys in a lot of ways. Like if I go and find all the Raptor stuff from yesterday and learn it all, and then I can come and give it all to you guys in one shot at 9:30 in the morning on Eastern time every day. That's different, but you can trust me to an extent, but maybe you shouldn't because I'm not a trained journalist and I don't have to hold it same integrity as them. It's really kind of the same thing as they say, real recognizes real. So you can tell when I'm telling the truth. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me. And I'm all about that because I don't have any pride in being absolutely right on everything. I'm just trying to tell it like it is from what I see. And maybe I'm wrong. I will admit it and stuff like that. So let me see what else you guys are saying here real quick before I get into more of this. Um, G's saying Fisher got so much attention from the OG article, he doubled down. This is exactly it, G. Like he saw that uptick in his traffic, and he likes this buzzard's nest that he hit that is called Raptors Nation. And we are so active online, and we're so vigilant about protecting our team in different ways that he saw that this is the thing. And it's very insidious what he's doing. It's like not only is he trying to cause dissension in the ranks of the team, he's also, what happens is these other teams look and see, well, maybe OG's available, and they start a whole buzz of like trade talks and people calling us about OG because of this. There's all kinds of dominoes that fall from irresponsible reporting like this. And I'm going to say, all right, first of all, I want to apologize to Tim Bontemps. I came down hard on him this season when he started talking about vaccine statuses for the Celtics and the Sixers before the playoffs. And he was correct. Thibault was one of these players, and we never did find out if there was a Boston player also. But the way he was going about it was very sensationalized. That's the thing we have to realize, that these media writers want to really entice and get you hooked on what they were going to say by making it something really like presenting in a certain way. I took a class at Florida State in my schooling in college called media writing, and it was taught by Dr. Solomon in the Diffenbaugh building. And he taught us how to write and manipulate text and what we write to manipulate people to read it or want to read it, or to, you can write headlines in all kinds of different ways and they'll have different effects. And that's what I'm saying. Tim Bontemps, I apologize. You were factual, but you still went about it in a really weird way about the way you went about different things and stuff like that. So let's see. Monique saying, preach. Josh Lewenberg is cool. Grange's been good since the championship year. Yeah, Monique, you noticed that too. Michael Grange has cleaned up his cynicism, his negativity, his trying to tear down the Raptors. He was horrible for writing that Masai Ujiri piece about him going to Washington 5 or 6 years ago. That was, it pissed me off so much, Michael Grange. But you know what? You really are getting in my good books. You are getting a lot more reliable, credible, and you're not so negative about the Raptors anymore. Like some of these guys that are in the Toronto area want to do what Jake from State Farm is doing. They look for those cracks because that's a big story to bust. You trust me, Michael Grange will want to know if the Raptors are having trouble internally, and he'll put it on blast because that's what he wants to do. But if it's not there, he won't say it. And that's what we need to realize, that these are the guys that are closest to the team, and they will let us know if there are really problems. That Jake in New York, wherever he's living, he don't fucking know. He doesn't know shit about the Raptors. He barely pays attention to us. He only pays attention to us when it suits him and benefits him. So that's what I'll say right there. And Lewenberg, honestly, Josh Lewenberg is the most real journalist of the Raptors right now. Doug Smith used to be, but you messed up this year with the Armani Brooks misstep. And now Lewenberg, to me, is the most trusted source, no nonsense guy in the sports media in Toronto that covers the Raptors. If you follow his Twitter, you will purely get facts, and you will purely get just that. And I thank you, Josh Lewenberg. You get my Sports Writer of the Year award, unofficial Raptor Freak Sports Writer of the Year award. Josh Lewenberg, good job this year. You covered the Raptors in the most down the line way, the way that everybody should. Now, I can talk about Blake Murphy. I like Blake Murphy. I think Blake Murphy is very factual, very informative, but he's also too jokey. He's also a little bit on the spectrum between Doug Smith and Josh Lewenberg and me. He's a little bit more towards in the middle because he talks a lot of AEW wrestling. He talks a lot of like jokey things. He makes a lot of jokey tweets, but he does have good research skills and good information. He's usually very factual and good. It's just all that extra crap. This is annoying and stuff like that. And he's fully on baseball mode now at this point. He's fully deep into Blue Jays stuff, and that's great. But he's a very helpful source also. He can be very factual. These are the people you got to listen to. Even Mike Ganter, who is it? Toronto Sun. That's a tabloid. And they definitely want to find out the dirt on the Raptors, whether they are exploding or having problems. Why isn't Mike Ganter breaking this story? because he would love to do that. You hear him in the press conference, these people are asking questions to try and find the cracks in the Raptors team, and they ain't finding them. So they're definitely ain't going to find them from another state in another country. So Jake from State Farm, realize that is who he is. He's trying to get us to click on him. Don't take the bait. We don't need to take that cheese from that ratty old, ugly, rusty mousetrap he's got there. So don't get caught in it. There's no reason to give him traffic. Let's just ignore him at this point. That is the best thing to do, because everything you give attention to, you give power to. And we don't want to do that with Jake from State Farm. We need to punish him. That's what I'll say. He's in the middle. That's what I'm saying. There's like these guys, Doug Smith and them, then Jake from State Farm, Tim Bontemps, all these hack writers. And they're really, the reason why they're more important than somebody like me is they have huge audiences. They're mainstream writers for Bleacher Report, for NBA Daily, stuff like that. And in some ways, they don't have to hold the same journalistic integrity that a Doug Smith at the Toronto Star does, that they can just write out their ass and make excuses for it later. That we need to realize that there's different categories. There's real journalists, there's hack writers, and then there's internet personalities, which are like me. And that they're all different levels of responsibility. Like I can be jokey, I can be crazy because I'm a fan, I'm a fanatic, I'm a freak. And these, I don't have to have any kind of journalistic credibility, but I do try to be factual. I do try to be informative, and I do try to not like go off the, do something crazy like these writers do in the middle. So it's really important to delineate what category the source you're getting the information from is. Is it a real trusted journalist that is actually paid as a journalist and has journalist integrity and maybe has some sort of Hippocratic oath like a doctor would about their job? Or are they a hack writer like Jake from State Farm? That is what you have to tell yourself. And also on the other level, I would say you also have to look and see where it's coming from. If it's coming from Canada, it's probably more reliable than the US, because all US media is slanted against the Raptors to a degree. And they will try and write some BS down there. Trust me, they will. Oh my gosh. Tom Duke's saying also believes in Andrew Nebhard, thinks he has a good chance of coming to our organization. Oh, you're talking about the Canadian guys that came and worked out on Friday? Yeah, they had a good impression, I think. And it will be nice to have another Canadian on the team. I don't know if these are the right guys. Now, the Caleb Houston, Scotty Barnes connection is very interesting. Like, if we want to please the Big Roy and keep some people around that he likes, like old friends and people like that, maybe we do draft Caleb Houston and bring him to this team just because he played on the high school team with Scotty Barnes. It's not a thing like, Chris Bosh, they got Jarrett Jack and brought him on the team for him in a way. This is something the Raptors have done before. If there is a connection, a previous connection to a player, then they want to bring them in and have them be more happy because they have somebody from their past, a friend, that somebody they can trust, and all of a sudden they're on their team with them. So that would be a great plus to drafting Caleb Houston specifically and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. Tom Duke saying, I'm getting sold on Nemhard. One more Canadian on the squad. That's right. Let's get that number up to 4. Yeah, 4 Canadians. We got to get Chris back, though. That's got to be part of it. Monique saying tomorrow is the 3 years since the championship year. Wild. Oh, that's a great anniversary, Monique. I'm really glad you brought that up. Wow. This is that time of year. Finals. Yes. And tomorrow, game 5 is going to be very, very, very important to see who wins this finals this year and gets the championship. Go Warriors is what I'm saying. Shane Waters is here. Good to see you, Shane. Good topic today. I often go back and forth on taking myself away from social media. It can be so toxic. People like you are the only thing that keep me from shutting it all down in my life. Well, I appreciate that, Shane. That means a lot. And listen, Twitter is a cesspool. I'm going to tell you that right now. Twitter is a place where anybody can write the most outrageous, stupid shit. And, we have to realize that when you're in there, and there's going to be other fan bases that are going to come in and they're going to write stuff about the Raptors and say ugly things and stuff like that. You just got to ignore it, cut it all out. And, that's not the best place to get your information unless you're looking at specific accounts like Josh Lewenberg and stuff like that. But you're right. Social media, this is part of the problem is anybody can have an audience at this point because of the way the internet is, social media and everything is evolved to this point. Like I can generate an audience. That's fantastic. I love that. That's amazing. But there's other people that can get audiences that are dangerous, that are detrimental, that are doing damage. And that's who we got to look out for and maybe just ignore them because it really is the attention where you put your attention, you give power. And we got to realize that. And more, it is really important to do this, not just with sports and Raptors subjects, but with the news and current events and different things that are going on. Because the media can really manipulate your emotions. And that is something we all need to be more in touch with and aware of when we're reading things and not let these things get us carried away or get us depressed or feeling awful. Just step away from it. Nobody is making us be on the computer to do this stuff. And it's good, Shane, that you have that kind of like, oh, this is too much. I got to get away from the computer. This sucks. This is stupid. Because we can get sucked in and doom scroll. And that's bad. That's really bad. Oh, yeah. Lolita is here. Good to see Lolita. He's probably thinking that he can cause a problem with Raptors harmony. Raptors and Masai are into something with his players. I'm so excited for the future. That's exactly right, Lolita, that we have a very solid house. And we're one of the three little pigs. We built our house out of brick. And this is the thing. They want to come and blow our house down, just like the big bad wolf will. And the only thing is hot air at this point. That is what they had is hot air, and it's not going to go anywhere with this. I mean, seriously, that is part of it. Is really true. Is they do want to destroy or hurt our team, and that is very super calculated. Like I'll bet Jake from State Farm is actually either a Sixers or Nets fan. And that this is part of why that like he's getting a couple of check marks off on his to-do list as far as get uptick in traffic, cause dissension in the Raptors, get OG Anunoby on my team. He's like just doing stuff to manipulate it to hopefully get that kind of outcome. So we just got to do what we can and just ignore him. And when he comes out with the next one, don't even click on it or just like realize that noise. If it's coming from him, we know that it's just absolute garbage and crap. Stuff like that. Monique is saying Savannah Hamilton is on the come up. Yes, Savannah Hamilton is one of the best young journalists covering the Raptors. Her Raptors Today stuff this season was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the extra content from Savannah. And I think that the work that she does with Sherman and Paul on that show is absolutely fantastic. I want to see more Savannah Hamilton all over the Raptors team, whether it's like, getting more involved with the main team, because a lot of the stuff she did this year is with G League team. And that's nothing wrong with her being at the 905 level, but she needs to get up to the main Raptors team and be a part of their broadcast as time passes. Yes, Savannah Hamilton is on her way up. And she is fantastic. G saying, Shane, I watch YouTube and IG only now. Even the toxic negative channels I try and avoid now and try and avoid the toxic comments. Channels like this and Chev are my go-to. Yeah. I mean, seriously, that is really a big thing that inspired me to make this channel is just how much negativity and toxicity there was in Raptors fan nation. And I was saying, we're going to make a zone where that is not about this, that we are all real Raptor fans, that we really do want this team to win. And we're not these fans that think they have some sort of ego power by putting the team down, even though they say they're a fan of the team. Stuff like that. We don't, no, none of that stuff in here. We'll set it straight if it comes in here. Oh, yeah. And I appreciate that you put me in a sentence with NBA Chev once again, G, because he is somebody I really do look up to. And I think he's one of the best on YouTube for sure. Tom Duke saying that Shane, agree. Let's go. Yes, Tom Duke, let's go. I see you have a emoticon parade. We're going to read it in a sec. It's going to be a rebus. The Tom Duke Raptors rebus is coming up. I see it. All right, G saying, I used to defend our players like crazy. And yes, you get sucked in. Yeah, it's like, what's the point? Why do you argue with some stranger who it's like, just like in politics? What's the point of arguing with a brick wall? They're not even going to, you're not going to budge. They're not going to budge. It's stupid. Just don't even give them your time or energy. Seriously, it's like they don't need us to defend them to a degree. Now, what I try to do is just put an information war out there in the offense, just like what I'm doing right now, is saying Jake from State Farm is full of shit, and this is what we should all believe and what is true and stuff like that. And the less we get sucked into arguments with people online over like dumb subjects that don't really matter in a lot of ways, the better. because it's just a waste. It really is a waste. Monique saying what people forget: Savannah Hamilton played for Ryerson. That's right. She has real knowledge and experience on a basketball court. She's not just a journalist. She actually does know what she's talking about as far as like X's and O's on the court and real basketball experience. That's part of the reason why I really like her. And she has a twin that is even more successful in basketball. That's actually pretty cool. Like I don't hear enough about her twin sister and some of the things she's doing in college basketball and basketball in the States. All right, here's Tom Duke's Raptor Rebus. Let's see what he's got. He's got a pig. He's got a pig snout. He's got a big pig face. He's got a cup of tea. He's got a tea. Yeah, he's got tea. There's the waffle with the pat of butter. There's the maple syrup. There's the old drum, the maple syrup. So I'm guessing that this Rebus says that Jake Fisher is a pig. He's an idiot, and he needs to be quiet about the Raptors, and that we're going to be sitting by the window having waffles with 100% Canadian maple syrup, pouring it on real thick with cups of tea. Tom Duke and I. That's the future. Oh, yeah. And there's a house. There is a house there, and it looks good. Yeah, I like that. Shane Waters is giving props to G and Tom Duke. I like that. You guys are all going around. Shane saying that, Tom, where are you at out here in the West, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, yeah, Jake is the pig. I knew you meant Jake is the pig. He's in Victoria. All right, you guys are out west in the BC. So just to recap real quick, I don't want to go too long. Remember, there's different tiers of journalistic integrity with different people. That Doug Smith, Josh Lewenberg, Mike Ganter, those guys, they have a reason to be factual because they have jobs they can lose if they're not. And meanwhile, somebody like Jake from State Farm, they can get away with not being factual because they may not necessarily be making a whole lot. They may be just hack writers that get paid for how many clicks they get. And that may be why he did this, is he really wanted to rouse up our ire and get Raptors fans in there so he's getting traffic. So that it's really important that we realize that. And then listen, there's people like me, and like I'm pretty factual for the most part. And then the other thing about it is if I'm wrong, you can call me on it and I will admit it and or try and like fix if I've been incorrect with misinformation. So really pay attention to the source. And once again, if it's from Canada, that's probably much more reliable than, because there's not American journalists coming over here to our press conferences. There's not American journalists that are here on the regular. And that if anybody's going to break these kind of stories, like what Jake's trying to say this week, it's going to be one of our journalists. And trust me, they want to. And some of them really want to because they do want to see the Raptors have negative stories. But there's nothing negative for them to report right now. And that's the thing, that things are good. And that's why they're trying to cause dissension. Partly there too. Cool boy. Let's see. Joel Embiid is the president of Canada. Yeah, he's the president that cries in the halls of our arena when we beat their ass and put them out in the playoffs. Listen, he got that one good shot. I will give him credit for that. But man, oh man, karma is swift. That's all I will say, Philly fan. You coming in here. He does not own us. And you know what? We play you guys again next year in the playoffs. Let's see. That'll be a rubber match kind of from the last two times. Yeah, we'll see who's owning who. Yeah, if we're healthy and we don't have Gary Trent with no flu and your idiot goon isn't stepping on people, yeah, we'll see how it is then, Philly fan. I'm glad you came in here, cool boy, you idiot. All right, yeah. Shane Waters is saying, nice at Tom Duke. My pops is in Suki. I'm in Vernon. And he's saying Joel cried because of the Raptors, so we own him. That's right, we do. We do. Oh my gosh, JoJo's a crybaby, a perpetual loser. That's right. All right, and you guys are getting together, maybe possibly out west. I like that. I like that. The bonding of the Raptor Freak clan. You go ahead and meet up and have a little Raptor Freak powwow meeting out there. That'd be awesome. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me today. Just a half hour today. Just wanted to get this special report in about journalistic integrity. This is really an important thing in today's world, and not just in sports. You can apply a lot of what I was talking about today to politics and news. That if you want to get, like, listen, there's a whole news channel that's in trouble right now because they're implicated in this January 6th. And that's a really good example of poor journalism leading to bad things and people dying. So listen, that is why journalistic integrity is important, because you can cause real damage. You can cause destruction and hurt and problems for people if you were not responsible with being factual. That's what I'll say right here. All right, Seymour Papers, give me the check mark. I'm going to take that as my cue to get out of here, y'all. If you like anything I said today, please hit that red subscribe button. It really, really is the way you can support me the best right now. And I just want to say happy 100th birthday to my grandmother, Vanima. Yes, we're going to go have the party right now. My brother's sitting here right now with me in the room with me, guys. This is my brother, Carl.
What's up, guys?
He's up here from Atlanta. I hadn't seen him in 3 years. This is so awesome. Appreciate it, everybody. And I'll be back tomorrow with a Monday memory. It's going to be a really fun one. It's one that involves my grandmother and me at a Raptors game. So I will be here tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Let's go, Raptors! Oh, yeah, baby. Woo!